he's passing out?
I didn't hear that, no.
Did you hear Mr. Lane say that at any point in your analysis of these videos before you came to court today?
About what Mr. Lane or Officer Lane said?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you heard him say at least one occasion he's passing out, correct?
Yes.
And would you accept my representation that that would have occurred around this time during this clip?
Yes.
All right. And other people, bystanders, are saying the same thing, correct?
I heard mostly just what the one gentleman was saying about being a bum and not resisting arrest and things like that.
Right. That the defendant was being a bum and that Mr. Floyd was not resisting arrest, correct?
Yes.
And you just saw the video. You saw Mr. Floyd, what he was doing at that time. At that time, would you agree, and I'll tell you the name of the person, is Donald Williams. Would you agree with Donald Williams that Mr. Floyd was not resisting arrest at that moment?
Yes.
Mr. Floyd doesn't appear to be conscious at the end of this clip, does he?
I can't tell.
And you're certainly not as close to him as the defendant was in that moment, correct?
Correct.
He's not talking, correct?
Yes.
He's not resisting.
Doesn't appear to be, no.
And from this point forward, the defendant remains on top of him in the same position as when he started the restraint period. Isn't that true?
I would say the same general position. I wouldn't say the same exact position.
Yeah, same exact position, same general position. The position is such that he's on top of him, compressing his lungs, compressing his chest against the pavement, right? With his body weight.
It's in a prone control position.
In a restraint. He's restraining, correct?
Yes.
Can't move, right?
Floyd can't move?
Floyd can't move.
No.
He's not moving. He's not resisting. He's not talking. It's not possible, is it?
To do what?
Resist.
I think it's definitely possible to resist.
When you've passed out. He's not doing it here, is he?
Not when he's passed out, no.
When we talk about what's possible, let's talk about what's happening in this case. He's not resisting, is he?
And this snippet, no.
Right. And from this point forward, right? From this point until the point at which the EMTs arrive and tap on the defendant's shoulder and take Mr. Floyd and place him onto the gurney. From this point to that point, Mr. Floyd wasn't resisting, was he?
No.
The defendant maintained the same general position.
Yes.
Force must be reasonable at the start of the force, correct?
Yes.
Throughout the continuation of the force and at the end of the force, correct?
Yes.
And you reviewed these videos and you understand that by the time the defendant got off of Mr. Floyd literally could not support his own head. Did you see that?
Yes.
You see the way he moved, the way his head moved when they moved him onto the gurney?
I did.
And a reasonable police officer in the position of the defendant, and that position is the position we see here, on top of him, would know that, right?
Would know
that he's not responsive, that he's not resisting.
I think he would know he's not resisting.
Because the officer said that he wasn't breathing. Said that to the defendant, right?
The officer did, or what the bystander?
Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane said that.
Can you rephrase, because I got lost in
I'm sorry. Mr. Lane said that. Mr. Lane said that to the defendant in the prior clip we watched, that he's not breathing, right?
Well, I heard that he's passed out. I didn't hear the not breathing part.
Well, the passed out came from the bystander, right?
I'm not sure.
Did you hear at some point in your review Officer King say that he couldn't find a pulse?
Yes.
All of this would have been known to a reasonable officer in the defendant's position, correct?
Yes.
And the defendant's position is and was and remains, as we see here at this moment, in this time, in this clip, on top of Mr. Floyd, on the street. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I have nothing further.